Hello, my name is Sam Nseir. I'm a premium support specialist with Autodesk. I've been with Autodesk for about a little more than 2 years. Today, I'll be presenting BIM data for owners. Prior to joining Autodesk, I was an owner rep at Chevron major capital project. So this topic is very dear to me. Prior to that, I was a BIM manager for a general contractor in Houston, Texas. Today I'll be covering challenges for owners, owners-driven BIM standards, and Autodesk workflow for owners. In terms of challenges, some of the major challenges for owners during operations is maintaining quality. The cost in the according to the construction institution, the cost in the U.S. construction industry is over $15 billion a year for rework expenses related to quality, and for other quality-related issues, the cost is double this number. And the other challenge is managing commissioning. It's commissioning is arguably one of the single most effective strategy for reducing energy and for efficient operation of facilities, but it's still lagging on its potential, and there are challenges in managing commissioning. In a traditional building life cycle and implementation of BIM on the throughout the construction and building delivery life cycle, from design to construction to handover into operation, basically what end up happening, the designer and consulting team using the BIM to generate the design, and the construction team use the model to run coordination and for other construction-related activities. But when we get to the as-built and the handover of the design and the documentation of the design, the challenge is always with how the as-built could be used for the operation team and space management, maintenance management, energy efficiency. So the key here is in the data, the attribute data. So basically, during the design phase, the major focus of the consulting team and the engineers is more on the graphic representation of the design, and with minimal attention to the data. When we move to construction, especially when we talk about taking quantity takeoff and estimation and other activities in the construction, attributable and submittal and others, attributable data becomes important for the construction team. But really, the data is mostly important for the operation team, and that's really what's really important to focus on. So there are many standards out there for BIM standards that would help owners set up standards for the data and how data could be delivered for them. Some from the Army Corps of Engineers or the Construction Institute or GSA. Data that could be specified by owners, including in the document format, how the commissioning documentation is delivered for assets attribute. Brian just talked. I watched the last 15 minutes of Brian's presentation. He was talking about Kobe, massive format, uniformat, other data that should be delivered for the assets. Also, whatever user interface and devices being that could be used to view the BIM data, basically and how system could be isolated in 2D and 3D, and what level of details and other details could be specified with the BIM standards. And what's really important here is to monitor and manage the data collection process from the design phase, making sure that data that's specified in the BIM standard is collected and audited basically throughout the life cycle of the project, from the design to construction to operation. Regarding Autodesk Autodesk offer multiple workflows that could help owners with managing this data attribute in different stages. Our design authoring tool like Revit and AutoCAD provide ability to input data into the design. But when we move to construction, our BIM 360 cloud solution, in addition to Navisworks, allows us to input more data and like more documentation into the design or or basically the as-built data, and this data could also all funneled into our building ops solution that could help operation team. So speaking, when we talk about our BIM 360 solutions, just 1 second. Speaking of our BIM 360 solution, it's a collection of products that could be used or spanned throughout the stages of the project, from from BIM 360 Glue that could be used as coordination tool, where models could be exported from our authoring tool to the cloud, and the data from the model could be accessed in Glue, and that data could be used in product like layout for detailed construction execution, and also could be pushed into field for quality assurance and for commissioning process, and then pushed to building ops. So, generally speaking, our BIM 360 solutions allow access for anytime, anywhere, from mobile to the web interface, without really a need for extensive need for deployment or installation, and even actually a little bit of minimal amount of training would be required to implement such a product, especially at the owner level or the operation level where probably they're not used to use our more like our design authoring tools like Revit and others. So so our BIM 360 Glue solution works between the pre-construction and the construction execution phases of the project, where all models are exported to the cloud, and the project team can coordinate, can collaborate, and to resolve clashes and markup. And here the owners could be part of that process and help. Have a look at the design, provide markups in the tool, and share that with the project team. So basically, it allows to extend the BIM 360 or the BIM model access to the entire project team, where it could be accessed, and it allows for easy coordination, and it also connect that data to the field, where field personnel can look at the model in real time. Our BIM 360 field solution, it allows the management of the construction data and from the construction phase all the way to the commissioning phase, basically, we can run our QA, QC processes through BIM 360 field. We can run our safety processes. If there's any safety program within the owner organization, it definitely can be implemented here. Also, we can run our commissioning processes and develop commissioning templates and assign it to individual and make sure it's implemented. It also allows the field personnel to access the model data and link the safety and quality data directly to the model. And here, this is just an example of when BIM 360 field is implemented on a project where, and this is a real data actually, is from a real project that where owner is pushing for BIM implementation using field. And basically here, what the marker here is the red line. You see the high usage of equipment. And in addition to the issues and checklist module, when all these three modules are used together, it's a high indicator for us. And this is basically some of the analysis we do within our enterprise support organization or the customer success organization. We do it for our enterprise customers to help them understand how the tool is being used at the project level. So in here, we can see high usage of equipment issues and checklists, a high indicator that our assets data are documented within field and the project team is actively using those tools. Versus GC-driven BIM, here we can see in field that how completely the equipment is dropped down. The GC here is more focused on QA, QC, and safety checklists, and less focused on commissioning activities and maintaining asset data. And that's really a good example where in a project where we would take this to the owner and say, here's the project, it's already starting. We probably need to implement asset data on the field side where we so we can get this red line to go up. In terms of when the project ends and when the commissioning is starts and the data is delivered to the owners, field allows several ways to deliver this data. You can simply export the data to Excel. You can push the data to the authoring tool like Revit and hand out the Revit model with the data in it. We can actually take it to Navisworks and hand the data in Navisworks, or we can export the data to our Building Ops solution. Building Ops is our cloud solution that allows that helps the operation and maintenance team. So basically, with the ops, with Building Ops solution, the tenants can basically report an issue, and the maintenance personnel would get notified. They walk to the unit and go, and they can. Of course, if barcode or QR code is implemented through field, with a scan of barcode, the maintenance personnel will be able to extract the data, see the data on the model, see the information, see and I mean the data that could come from field are quite extensive, would include photos, asset-related information, and other information. This is really it for me. I wanted to have like a quick presentation. I didn't want to take so much of your time. I'd like to open the mic for questions if you have.
It's more comments.
Yeah, it's more comments. So, until now, we are using mainly the field and product from BIM 360, and it's pretty much interesting because we still are in development mode using these tools, because mainly our need, we need to make sure that it respects our needs in terms of also formatting some checklists from field and make sure to import our data from Glue 100%, not 100%, but what we can, as much as we can import from Glue to Fit and use this data. But of course, until now, we are able to deliver what we are asked to do. So it's pretty much a good tool for us.
Perfect. Good to know. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
So this is Nseir rather than Sam, just in case. So I think Nseir, are you using EP support? You haven't had
Yeah,
to
of course,
so just in case. Any questions here, feedback, challenges for BIM 360? Romero, I think you're using BIM 360 for a long time.
Yes.
Anything you can share with us here? Maybe with Sam? I'm making you.
Yes, we have BIM 360. We use Glue for most of our projects, and Field not only for deficiencies but also for quality and safety. We try to use docs and layouts and also BIM building ops, but that didn't work too well. It's just a process that is a little bit harder for building ops. Some visualization didn't work, but mostly we are trying also to use Field for commissioning. So we are starting to do that as well.
All right, I think we are all set. So the slides will be shared with everyone here. So all the slides will Brian presentation, Nicola, Mark. So we'll be making sure to have all the slides, all documents, all relevant documents shared with you guys with the recording as well. So thank you so much, Sam. Maybe any closing thoughts before we jump to other topics?
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much.